Welcome back. And in the world of oil, Brent crude prices consolidated recent gains at around $70 a barrel today, a level not seen since 2014's dramatic oil market slump. Brent crude futures, the international benchmark for oil prices, dipped 25 cents to $70.01 a barrel from the previous day's close, but traders say Brent was well supported overall around this level. Brent hit $70.37 a barrel on Monday, its strongest since December 2014, which marked the beginning of 3 years in the doldrums for oil prices. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were at $64.50 a barrel, up 20 cents from their last settlement. WTI hit a December 2014 peak of $64.89 a barrel in early trading. Well, we'll have to talk further about this commodities prices with analysts with financial derivatives. But just before we do that, in South Africa, a court has authorized the freezing of 1.6 billion rand in assets earned by global consultancy McKinsey and a firm linked to friends of President Jacob Zuma. The Pretoria High Court made the decision in December after a request by the National Prosecuting Authority to freeze the fees earned by McKinsey and local consultancy Trillion for advising South African power utility Eskom. Privately held McKinsey, one of the world's largest management consultancies, has already lost several clients over the contract. This month, Zuma agreed to set up a commission of inquiry into allegations of influence peddling by the Gupta brothers, who control the firm McKinsey, partnered on the 1.6 billion rand contract to advise Eskom in 2016. Well, back to the global oil market issues with prices at $70 per barrel. How should Nigeria and other producing countries celebrate now? What does this mean for Nigeria's 2018 budget? Let's talk to Pamela Basiduke, one of the research analysts with Financial Derivatives Company. Good afternoon, Pamela. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we've seen oil at a 3-year high. Looking at our 2018 budget, $47 per barrel. Should Nigeria think about reviewing the benchmark price at this time?
Yes, so although higher prices is good news for Nigeria, I think it's a bit too early for Nigeria to review the budget benchmark price. We're just in the first 2 weeks of January, and there's still 50 weeks ahead left in the year of 2018. So let's look back and let's look at the oil trends in past years. In 2014, oil prices were as high as $68 per barrel, $115 per barrel before falling as low as $59 per barrel. In 2015, oil prices were as high as $67 and fell as low as $38 per barrel. In 2016, oil prices were within $40 to $50 per barrel, and in 2017, oil prices averaged $54 per barrel. So this, just as oil price is just as volatile as other commodity prices. So this buttresses my point. While it's better for Nigeria to wait and not review the budget at this budget benchmark at this point in time. However, if oil prices continue to this bullish trend, then it's best Nigeria reviews the budget or creates a supplementary budget, implements a supplementary budget to enable government spend more and increase economic activities.
Are there concerns that the price level may probably not be sustainable? And now, what are the risks of a reversal of this trend?
It's in the short run, price levels are sustainable on the back, giving improved economic growth, global economic growth. Even recently, World Bank revised Nigeria's economic growth upwards to 2.5%. So economic growth, it drives increased demand for this commodity, which is oil, and then in turn, it leads to an increase in prices. And in addition, increased level of compliance among OPEC members and non-OPEC members will boost prices. However, there are risks, and this risk include the possibility of this economic growth projections not being met. Like let's take it home to Nigeria. In an instance where there's a fall in our production levels due to militancy activities in the Niger Delta region, would have, and since Nigeria is sensitive to oil production would have an effect on economic growth levels, and that would be a risk to price levels being sustained. So also the possibility of an increase in shale production due to higher oil prices could also be a risk to prices being sustained in the short run.
Now, looking at the high price on the international market, will that affect the availability of petrol and other refined products here in Nigeria?
Yeah, there's a high possibility that it will affect the availability of refined petroleum products in Nigeria, as we know we do not produce refined products locally in Nigeria. However, high government revenue due to surplus of exports and imports would help reduce the possibility of an increase in subsidy. So, yes, that will balance it out.
And will this have any inflationary impact on other commodity prices?
Normally, it will have an impact on commodity prices because in terms of transportation costs. So let's take, for instance, a trader who used to transport commodities at 100 naira, hypothetically, there will be an increase to, let's say, 200. So that would definitely affect commodity prices. But we're in the run-up to election period, so this will not necessarily have an inflationary pressures on commodity prices, because government will likely leave prices as they are.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Pamela. Pamela Basaduke is one of the research analysts with Financial Derivatives Company here in Lagos. We'll move on now. South Korea's Samsung Electronics plans to double the annual revenue contribution from its African markets to 20% of the firm's global total in the next 5 years. President and CEO of Samsung Electronics Africa, Sung Yoon, said the electronics giant, which accounts for over half of the mobile handsets and televisions sold in African nations like Kenya, would set up shops and other retail channels in more African countries and cut product delivery times. Demand for Samsung products was being driven by growing African demand for bigger TV and mobile phone screens. An increase in connectivity across the continent, helped by higher investment in telecommunication infrastructure, would further boost demand for devices in future. Telecom executives say more African consumers are turning to smartphones for more basic models, helped by faster internet speeds to use social media and banking applications. And Acacia Mining's fourth quarter production fell by a third on the previous year due to a ban on exports of gold and copper concentrates in Tanzania. The London-listed miner said production in the 3 months to December fell 30% to 148,477 ounces compared with a year ago and 22% from the previous quarter. This brought 2017 gold to 767,883 ounces, ahead of its expectations of 750,000 ounces. The company shut its flagship Bulawayo mine in September as the miner bled cash due to the government export ban that was introduced in March. Tanzania believes it is not getting enough revenue from its minerals and is encouraging the construction of a local smelter. The cash balance as at December stood at $81 million after a $15 million outflow in the fourth quarter. And that's it on the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwabo.